Hello and welcome to another episode of 10 Days of Gratitude. I'm your host, Mia Saenz, and with me in this episode, sitting right next to me, is Dana Canneto. And I'm very excited to bring her here for many reasons. One of them is that I just feel this synchronicity with her work, and I love it because she is a body awakening and self-love catalyst / coach / mentor. And so she's really fun to follow her work and to talk with her. And so I encourage you all because her work is really beautiful. And so welcome, Dana, before we get further on and on.
Hi, Mia.
Hi, it's
Hi.
wonderful to have you here.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're too lovely.
Aw,
So
thank you.
it's nice to have you here. So share with us a little bit about your background story
Yeah.
and a little bit also then into your work and why you fell in love with this aspect. Many of us do it because it's a path we took.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, very much so. My journey was very long, so I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. So it really started, I didn't know it started way, way back, but I grew up very sensitive, very shy, and in an environment that I felt, let's just say I had the belief that I needed to be a certain way in order to be accepted and loved and feel safe in the world. And so I conformed, I did what I was supposed to. I dressed the way I was supposed to. And I never really found a place where I could really self-express myself and feel okay with that. And fast forward, I went through the whole, right after college, I would say, or it was right in the beginning of college was when the body shame started. It was the 90s and skinny was in and low fat was in and all of that. And it was actually the same time I gained a lot of weight. And so it was when one day somebody said, a guy said something really hurtful to me, and it was like a dagger in the heart because I had the belief that if I was not skinny, that I wouldn't be accepted, I wouldn't be loved, and I wouldn't fit the part. And then it just rolled out from there. I went through all through college just feeling very, very disempowered, very belittled, always comparing myself to the person next to me, the woman next to me, and really lost myself and found myself numbing out with partying and alcohol. And it definitely was some fun years of my life, but I wasn't living in my truth then. And when I left college and it was time for me to go off on my own, I felt very out of control. I still hadn't lost the weight. I left a lot of my good friends, and I was coming back home to a controlled environment, coming back home. And I honestly felt like here I am. I just graduated 4 years of college and I have no direction. And I say that because I felt like I was always being directed, for whatever reasons. And that was the start of my relationship with anorexia. I took on the reins of the one thing I could control, and that was my body. And I battled with that for several years until I wound up in the hospital and nearly died. My vitals were down. I was very underweight, severely dehydrated. And that was really the start of my journey towards health. But from there, I tried to do it on my own. I thought I could do it all myself, and I incurred every, health issue after health issue after health issue, eating the wrong things, all diet stuff, chemicals. And from there, as I started to heal myself physically, I was still not happy. My body still wasn't where I wanted it to be, even though I had then gained more weight. And then I surrendered. 1 year I just surrendered and said, I can't take this anymore. And my health was still I was still very unbalanced, but it was when I surrendered, it was when I met my now husband. But I still had a lot of health challenges. And what I realized then was the next phase of my journey when my dad passed away, and it was about a month after that, and I found myself crying on my couch, just with this overwhelming knowing and awareness that I had a deeper and bigger purpose. And that started my journey with the nutrition school. And then when my physical health started to get better, or I should say my physical body started to get better, but I was still incurring health issues. I then went on to, other modalities in spiritual practices and life coaching and energy work. And then the aha came through about, it's not just about the physical. It's about the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the physical. And so obviously, my own journey has brought me to where I am today in a place of self-love and self-honoring and compassion for everything that I incur and for my body. And it's been a beautiful, one of my mentors always says, it's not always pretty, but it's always beautiful. And that's how I look at it,
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You said something that is still stuck with me a few minutes later, and that was in the 90s, and I was eating low-fat or non-fat. Of course you gained weight because of the crap and the sugar they put in.
Exactly.
So.
And my health, nerve damage, digestive issues, depression, anxiety. You can list them all down, and I had them, especially being a sensitive person.
Yeah. And it's crazy because people don't realize that the more we modify food, the worse it is for us. It was created in a sense of completeness. Let's leave it that way,
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's very interesting about that.
Yeah.
So you shared with us your journey. Will you share with us a little bit about your work?
Yeah, of course. So I started, like I said, with the nutrition school. So I started out as a health coach, and I found myself after a while just feeling a little, the passion wasn't there. When I guess because I was still doing my own work, and again, fast forward, and it's now about, what I like to say is it's bringing women home to themselves. So feeling everything, living a more sensual life, knowing how to nourish your body. It's all about loving. It's so much about the body, but what I find is we use the body as the victim when really we're punishing ourselves. There's something so deep within us that we're not happy with or proud of, or we feel unworthy. And I always call it stories. It's like the stories that we hold on to about ourselves that are causing us to feel this way, whether that it's a specific event that happened. And so I help women navigate that in a really safe space, is finding the truths. What is it that we're perceiving about ourselves that's not really real and not really true? And therefore, we're thinking others are perceiving us in that same way, and I also, the women that I work with are usually also very sensitive or empaths. And I know we have that in common. And
we do.
And who really don't know how to feel. They don't know how to go through their emotions and feel it's okay and love that part of them. They feel very disconnected from their relationships and people. So it's the whole disconnection from self, and how can we bring you back home to yourself and feel that happiness and the gratitude and the love, and then exude that beauty outwardly, once we feel the beauty inwardly. Yeah.
What's really amazing about that is the shifts and change within ourselves is really very, very vast in every area when we do take the time to do that inner work.
Yeah. I think you said it once before, it's the magic pill. It's, it is. It's what, and that it's such a difficult thing to express to some people, because it's not like it is a tangible, yet it's not a tangible, because the tangibles come with it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the journey can be rough, but it gets better and quicker and faster.
Oh, yeah.
And we find that it's the journey that we want to be on, It's funny because I'm starting to think about traveling again, but it's been a long while, because I've looked at this whole experience, not just building this business, but me and my healing process. I've looked at it as my adventure, as my journey, as my excitement. I didn't need to go to another country because this country maybe needed some work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty too is I feel that usually, most of the time, and I don't know if you find this too, I'm working with a client and they're realizing they're not even happy with what they're doing in life. And they're part of this journey
Exactly.
shows them actually where they want to be, and it's all part of it. So that's the beauty of it too.
That is the beauty of it. We love that, don't we?
Yeah.
It totally shifts and changes. You know, one thing you said that a lot of people probably don't understand, so I want us to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to get on to gratitude, but there's such a disconnect with who we are in our body, a numbing. So what we do is we reawaken who they are, who we are.
Yeah.
And to be in our body is pretty glorious and magnificent in its own right, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why what you said, body awakening is what the umbrella piece. Yeah. Because once we wake up the body, we wake up to who we are.
Yeah.
And if we're able to just sit and feel and not judge, and I think that's where the disconnect comes, is like where we're brought up to you're a baby and you're a little girl and you're crying and you're told to stop, and automatically it's, you're not supposed to cry. It's a bad thing.
Right.
Or you're laughing, making too much noise. You're fully in your power, and all of a sudden you're told to be quiet, and all of a sudden that feeling, right? So
I remember getting that a lot.
Oh yeah. So it's that coming back home to knowing that it's all okay. There's no judging. There's no shaming. It's all a beautiful part of being human.
I loved how you said that when we get in touch and awaken our body, that's when everything else comes into place. And a lot of people don't understand or get that. And that is so true. What happens when we awaken our body is our soul is allowed to reveal itself. And we're not closing ourselves off. We can't really live our purpose unless we do this work, because our purpose, we don't know what it is. Like you were saying, everything shifts and changes.
Absolutely.
What we're doing is we're getting in touch with who we are through understanding our body, which is a huge block for our soul. People don't know how to mix their soul and their body together to live a fabulous life, and that's what you and I do.
Right.
It's amazing work, Dana, and I'm very attracted to Dana. Everyone else said this. I'm very attracted to Dana's work, as she knows. I love it.
Thank you.
She gives it a very beautiful feminine flair, which is just lovely. And you'll see some of her work in Bellamia magazine. She's her name's in there. Just you'll see. There's some stuff in there that's awesome. You're welcome, honey. Let's talk about gratitude, because gratitude's a huge game changer in our body, in our life, in everything.
Yeah.
What do you do to bring gratitude into your life?
Okay, so I love this one that I'm going to share, because it has to do with the body and all of it, and everybody who's listening can absolutely start doing this and see how they feel.
Awesome.
So the first thing that I do, and it's so interesting to me because I don't even know how this came up. This isn't something I heard from someone. Actually, I was at a retreat and I just started doing it, and it's just become a ritual. So every morning when I wake up, before I even put my feet before I even lift a shoulder, I place my hands on my body, and I start with my chest, and I feel my skin. And I start with and then I go to my arms, and there's no order. It's really where I'm intuitively led to, and I just give it thanks, and I give it gratitude, and I just love it. And it brings me to such a place of not just gratitude, but groundedness. Like I'm here, I'm alive, and thank you, arms, for allowing me to knock my husband over off the bed. No. Thank you, arms, for allowing me to move about, and thank you, legs, for allowing me to walk. Just sending my body love and kindness.
I love this. I'm sorry. You guys have to understand, there's so much about Dana and I that is so similar that it's scary. It freaks us out at times. We're like, oh my God, we're sewn from the same cloth. It's just...
It's
so
true.
Go ahead. I just love it.
You do the same thing, don't you?
I have a process that I teach called honor bows, and so we do that in the shower.
Okay.
And we literally are looking at, as we put on our hands and giving gratitude in our arms and giving, because people are disconnected from their bodies.
Well, I have to completely, and this just brings you home. We don't even touch ourselves.
I know.
And actually, that's a good point, because
we're taught
even
in
though I
this
do,
puritanical country that it's gross or bad.
yeah, totally. Even to walk like we want to be in our bodies, it's not. We have to walk all constricted and safe, and or supposedly safe. And I love that you do it in the shower, because I've started to not just do it when I wake up. It's just like, really, where are those moments? I know my shower is my playground, actually. It's kind of like where anything goes,
Yeah.
I've sat down in the shower while the water is running to feel, oh my gosh, I could feel the water. Close my eyes like I'm under a waterfall, Anything really, that's more like body gratitude, but I have a spiritual practice every morning that really brings me into the place of gratitude. So I do my meditation when I wake up, visualization, always acknowledging where I am. I did a call yesterday, and even before that, meditated and just felt into the presence of me, and felt in the gratitude of being, I'll say it, chosen to be able to deliver this work. And just all throughout the day, finding little ways. And
I'm giggling again, because I do that before my calls too.
I have to. Or before
it grounds
clients,
us.
or,
Exactly. Or before this, Yeah.
Thank you for bringing this person to me. So I like to say, because I know like body and self-love, it's all about us, but it's also like, you almost look at it as like, it's not all about me though, too. It's like, it's what we're doing for ourselves is for the collective. It's for humanity, and gratitude at night, gratitude journal, 5 things. What are you grateful for? So it's just the constant gratitude.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. And it sounds very familiar, and I wonder why, just because you and I are similar. I love that. I love that.
It doesn't surprise me.
We're yin and yang, the dark and the light.
There you go.
So
and the opposite sides of the world,
Exactly. Or at least of the United
country.
States. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Gratitude is really, really profound, as you know. Like, it shifts and changes the way we see our body, the way we see and experience life in general, what we bring in. A lot of people want to know, probably too, do you have, and it sounds like you covered it, but do you have gratitude that you give and do to set your heart base into its right alignment? Because, as you know, everything that we're grateful for, and every time we bring up this experience, it really deeply connects us to manifestation, to, I almost said producing, to receiving.
Yeah.
Not producing, but to receiving. And to producing in a way, but manifestation is all about receiving.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Well, there's 2 things to that, because, receiving is also, we're able to receive when our chakras are open, which the heart chakra, so I kind of focus on my heart and everything. And the way that I do that is to close my eyes and think about the things that I'm grateful for, and at the same time, letting light just beam out of my heart and go from, and I think I learned this through a few different meditations, and they really worked for me. It's just envisioning the light going out to the people around me, then seeing the light in my heart going out to my town, and to, and just keep spreading and spreading and spreading the love and the light. And that really feels good to me, because, and I feel like that feels, even so special, because a lot of us can do this and not even know it. We can feel so much of what's going on around the world, and all these traumatic events. But if, 1 of us, 2 of us, 3 of us, we collectively just lead with love, lead with our hearts, that changes, because you see your world around you change. So if we all see our world around us change, then obviously we're doing something right. So I think that's what your question was, if I answered that right. But
yeah, it's beautiful. Everybody has a different way of explaining it, and yours is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. in your work, what are some of the let's just talk about this, because there's benefits that, and the reason I'm asking you this specifically is because you and I both know how powerful this work is. You and I both believe that everyone should work with us before they go do anything else, because when you have your house, your body, your temple, your body, mind, soul, and spirit, when you have that all in alignment, everything else flows. Your business, and you can even open up your consciousness to understand how to build your business. You know, all that is, everything is easier. So what are some of the connections that, just off the top of your head, how have people shifted and changed their lives through connecting through gratitude with their presence, with their self-love? People ask me this all the time, and so it's so funny for me to ask you, but I'm going to use their questions on you.
Yeah, that's fine. So how have they seen their world or change, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's from like the littlest to the most profound. So I'm going to use specific examples, and hopefully if anyone, I'm not going to use names, obviously, but, you know, I ask this question to my clients because I really, for myself, I want to make sure they're acknowledging it, but also I want to know, you know, what's changed for you. And one of the biggest is, I think it becomes the biggest for them because they didn't even realize that this would change, is their relationship to their partner. Just how much they love them more, and they're receiving love, and just the way that they're communicating with each other. The other types of instances were, you know, lots of times when I'm attracting a client, they're going through some type of transition, whether they know it or not. So it might be a separation. It might be they're trying to find their purpose. They want to get out of their job. They, you know, because that's usually when we're feeling so much and pain or grief, you know, or they're moving, so one of my favorite was somebody who was going through, you know, a very challenging time, and she decided to take a vacation for herself, which she's never really done for herself. And it was on like the anniversary of this, you know, separation or whatnot that was happening. And it was like she went on it, and even by the time she got there, like things started to align the way she needed to. Like the right people showed up, or, you know, but there was one instance where, you know, she just allowed herself, she got very down, and she just allowed herself to sit there and cry and journal with herself and let it out, which is oftentimes our clients are not, it's a hard thing to give themselves permission to do. And immediately after she did that, she got on her bike. She started riding down the road. It was kind of like cafes and stuff, feet up in the air, in the rain, laughing and like loving her life. And I mean, that's just like a specific example, but I can't tell you how much my heart just like sang when I heard that, because it was like she's like, now I know what you mean. Like she allowed herself to play, which we think sometimes is, you know, often we can't play, we're immature, or, you know, but it's just, that's powerful, you know. You know, the clarity in what they want. Now, another big one too is when they're at work. I hate my job. I hate what I do. I just want to get out of there. And it's like that anxiety and that depression that it can take, especially if you're going off on your own. And then it's like, as they find the reasons to be grateful for where they are, what it provides for them. And as they, you know, one of the big things too is like acknowledging their own power. And once they do that too, it's like their jobs become easier and things flow better and great things happen. And so it's really in so many aspects. It's, you know, the career, the relationships. I'm probably missing some, you know, but
people get an idea of just the vastness. And I have to share this with you. Yeah. All of a sudden I was so into what you were saying, I forgot we were on camera.
That's a good thing.
That's so funny. And I went, wait a minute. That just shows that we feel comfortable with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's fun. That's awesome, honey. That's It's.
I want to name one more thing, if that's okay.
Please.
There's also something to say about like the things that we're passionate for, and we don't even realize we're not doing. like dancing,
Yes.
or,
Yes.
these things that oh, dance? I didn't even think of going dancing, or the things, again, that get you into your body. But who doesn't love dancing? I mean, some people don't,
I
you
love,
know?
oh my God, dancing's amazing. Or walking in the tree, not in the trees, but walking in,
Walking in the street.
I know, really.
That's very talented.
And it connects you to your body because you'll
Yeah.
fall otherwise.
Yeah, right.
But yes, walking in wherever you can find nature, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even in your neighborhood, if that's like I live in LA.
Mhm.
So unless I'm able to get up to the mountains or something, which isn't far away to find some nature, but it's easier obviously to go to my neighborhood and look at the trees and look at the grass and look at the plants, because then I'm moving myself into the space of nature.
Yeah.
That's a really big
Absolutely.
connector of as well. Dance is fabulous, but
Yeah.
also walking, it connects your soul and your body together.
Mm,
It's beautiful.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So turn on some J-Lo and start dancing, everybody.
Yeah, right?
It's lovely. What is your free gift? You have a free gift for us, don't you?
I do.
Yay.
So if you go on my website, which is danacannetto.com, and you're going to have to scroll down just a little bit. I don't have it right there, like in your face. So maybe 4 little panels down, you can put your name and email. They can put their name and email address in there, and they get the rest of my body rituals.
Oh, nice.
So I named one, tonight, but there might be 6 on there.
Nice.
So,
And then people also have to, not they have to, but they're also going to want a reminder
yes.
as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And the website is danacannetto.com. Did I say that?
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be on the email
Oh,
for
great.
everybody, so it'll be really easy for them to just click
Perfect.
on from the email. Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. What would you like to leave us with? What thought process, or what do you want to tell everybody?
It's so simple. And the first thing that came to me was just to wake up every day knowing that you're whole, complete, loved, adored, and to really just see yourself.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Very lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so glad you were on.
Yeah, me too. This was fun.
And you are our closing act. So you're the anchor on our ship.
All right. Awesome.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us for 10 Days of Gratitude. It's been wonderful to share these amazing people with you. And feel free to contact any of the speakers that have been on the show, and they'll be very happy to write you back. Thanks again. Bye.